This episode is brought to you by TaxAct. Don't do your taxes alone. Join TaxAct's National Admin Night. Admin nights are social gatherings for getting through your to-do list. So get ready for a night of fun, finding deductions, and filing taxes with TaxAct, where you can file your federal and state return for just $49 through April 8. Let's get together and get them over with. Visit taxact.com/admin-night for details.
April showers bring May flowers, but what do May flowers bring? A special offer from the DSR network. For the month of May, become a member and receive 20% off a monthly or annual membership. Members receive an ad-free listening experience, exclusive bonus content, our evening members-only newsletter, and an invitation to continue the conversation via our members-only Slack community. This offer won't last, so act now. Visit thedsrnetwork.com/buy and enter code MAYFLOWERS, one word, to receive your discount. That's thedsrnetwork.com/buy and code MAYFLOWERS. Thank you for your support.
Welcome to The Secret Life of Cookies, where we try to solve the world's problems through the miracle of carbohydrates, one recipe at a time, with host Marissa Rothkopf and her dog, Bosco.
Hello, and welcome to The Secret Life of Cookies. Today, my apologies, although I know I'm not supposed to start off with an apology, but anyway, my apologies for our release of pods being a little bit blippy. But that said, I am very grateful that you are here today, and I trust and know that you will enjoy our show. We have a very funny guest. Me and Bosco, have a very funny guest, Aaron Nemo, who's going to talk to us about the writer's strike. He's a writer at The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and offers some really interesting insights into Chat GPT, but also Buckeyes, the fantastic confectionery that comes to us from Ohio. Anyway, I know you'll all enjoy it, but a little bit of housekeeping first. All the recipes for the podcast and links can be found on my Substack newsletter. That's what Substack is, in case for people like, what's a Substack? It's like a newsletter. You can find it at marissarothkopf.substack.com, along with a giant archive of recipes and stories of American kitchen history. It's where you'll find the Buckeyes recipe and also a recipe for Buckeye brownies. Yeah, that's the way to go, folks. You can also support my work with a subscription for $5 a month, or if that's not possible yet, you can subscribe for free. Either way, I am grateful for your support. I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast that has been robbed of the number 4 in its countdown from 5 to 3, 2, 1. And instantly we're here on the podcast with, well, Aaron Nemo. You may not know him unless you're a big reader of credits or a follower of shitty Mozart, which we'll get into later. But you do know Aaron's work. Why? Aaron, tell us a little bit about what you do.
I feel like I've never seen you do like your performance voice in person before, even though we're not in person, but I see the video of you changing voice. It's very impressive. Nice job. This is my radio voice, by the way.
So the reason that Aaron knows my other voice is because, Aaron, we're sort of related, aren't we? Sort of. Through marriage.
Sort of. Through marriage. We are husband and wife. We are married to each other.
No, Aaron. No. We don't talk about that in public. You're married to my niece.
Yes. Which makes you my niece's aunt. Wait. Honestly, I didn't even mean to say it wrong. My wife's aunt. But I don't really know what our relation is.
I don't know. But it's nice. It's something nice, good. And I like you. And I'm glad to have you on because you're a writer of many things. But right now, well, not right now, but I mean, still right now, you are a writer on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Hey.
And you make it happen, which is why so many people out there who are listening have undoubtedly laughed along with you, not at you.
Right.
But right now you're in the kitchen and we're going to make a treat from your home state of Ohio. My favorite joke as a child.
Mm-hmm.
That state is round at the ends and high in the middle. That was one of my better jokes, which is why I'm not a writer on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
No, that's a good joke. You have good taste in humor. I like that joke. It's a nice visual, word-based, and state understanding joke that is about one of our great states.
You've produced, I think, the most presidents of any state. Is that true?
I actually think we're behind Virginia.
Oh, that's right.
Virginia has the most. But Virginia had a huge head start. Ohio, I think was founded in, I want to say it's either 1813 or 1818. I always get them mixed up. But I think we have 6 presidents, and I also believe they're all mostly terrible presidents, though. So,
you have a lot of McKinleys, right? You have the McKinleys.
Yeah, we got guys that died fast, and then we got people that gambled away the White House china to Mexico, and
really
talked about their genitals a lot in private notes that have now been released widely.
Wait, 19th century genitals?
No, I think 20th century Jennies that were Warren G. Harding specifically.
He's
got the Teapot Dome. Yeah, he wrote a lot of letters to, I think it was I'm going to mess this up and then Warren G. Harding stands are going to come at me, but he wrote a lot of love letters, and I think he must have been somewhat where they would be intercepted. So he used all of these code terms for his private parts, but they weren't very well coded. You go back and read them and you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what your long Tommy is. It's very obvious what you were. I would like you to see my long Tommy. He never said long Tommy, but it's something like that. It's close.
Whatever it is, I'm pretty sure it would make me feel really, really uncomfortable no matter what. Just the thought of that.
I know.
It's on a par with parents. But anyway, we won't talk about that. Right now, though, you're on strike with the Writers Guild of America. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think finds you. Normally, you'd be very busy in a theater right now in just north of Times Square, or some may actually call it Times Square. But making the Late Show happen right now, what are we making? What did you force me to make because of your Ohio pride?
Well, Marissa, we're making a little something called buckeyes, which are a delicious dessert they're very unhealthy, but they're so good. I've had more than 20 in a day so many times. And so they're called buckeyes because I think the state tree of Ohio is a buckeye, and the buckeye gives off a nut, and it's a poisonous nut, and it kind of looks like an eye, and somebody came along and said kind of looks like a buck's eye, buckeye. And so Ohio's the buckeye state. We make little tiny treats that are nut shaped that resemble a poisonous nut. And we are obsessed with this nut in the state. And then we got Brutus the Buckeye, the mascot of Ohio State, who is a human nut hybrid. He's not a giant nut. He's a man with a nut's head.
Interesting. Is that something that happened after train derailments, something with chemical spills, or is it natural?
It came before the most noteworthy the one that you're maybe referencing. He's been around for a long time, but there must have been some sort of lab experiment or nuclear spill of some kind that created this monstrosity that we celebrate named Brutus.
And Brutus, I guess, probably happened in the labs at Ohio State, because I think this is like a tailgate treat, without, I don't know, any. Everybody wants a Buckeye. In fact,
everybody.
You have been known to be situated in the vicinity of Brooklyn, and I'd asked you earlier, could you ever have foreseen yourself living in Brooklyn?
I don't think so. I didn't really know I didn't know you could do comedy as a job until I was probably 18 years old. And I saw some stand-up. I saw Brian Regan and Dane Cook on Comedy Central, and not that Dane Cook remain. I mean, I am literally wearing a backwards hat right now, so I probably do seem like he's one of my main inspirations. But I slowly figured out you could. Yeah, I don't know. I think I was drawn to New York until later in life. Brooklyn. I didn't really understand what that meant. I thought it was maybe a different place than New York when I was that age. So it's it's a bit of a miracle that I am here making buckeyes on technology that I didn't know would exist at that time.
You could only have dreamed of it. But the truth is, and I think people have been keeping it from you, is according to what I've read, the first buckeyes were made in Brooklyn, Ohio.
What? I didn't know there was a Brooklyn, Ohio.
Apparently there is. Though don't now that you question me, I don't know. I think it's true, but it is. It's supposed to be true, and they make millions of them at this little confectionery. But
Wow.
Luckily for us, we can make them here at home. Let's get into a little bit of the mixing and stuff, because I have a bowl of warm chocolate that is making me really want to dip these things into them so that I can maybe give kids something that looks like a poisonous nut. Because that seems like a good thing for kids. Hey, kids, eat this. It's like a poisonous nut.
Hey, kids. Poisonous nuts and drugs are good
exactly.
for you.
But don't watch Tom and Jerry or you'll become a bad, evil person. Yeah, you'll become a rat. And certainly don't watch any television because it's bad for you. Unless it's Veggie Tales. Did you have to watch Veggie Tales as a kid?
I did. Go over to my friend's house because I thought Veggie Tales slapped. Like, I thought Veggie Tales was incredible, and then because I was the only Jew in my town, I later found out that it was like subtly like disguised Christianity, and I was like, they got me,
and my love of broccoli.
Those songs, that tomato and that cucumber are the perfect duo. They complement each other amazingly, and they get into all kinds of hijinks that is Bible adjacent.
For all you folks out there who maybe haven't had the pleasure of Veggie Tales, make some buckeyes, tune into the Veggie Tales, and you will have a delightful afternoon. What I have to open the door for the other co-host. One of my co-hosts is here, Bosco, and the other co-host is Calvin.
Bosco
is Calvin the cat who instantly wants to come in to my house the minute I am talking. My cat and
come in, Calvin. We're talking Veggie Tales.
Veggie Tales, and there's food on the counter. Tell me, what goes into a buckeye? Because we're using your family recipe.
That's right. This is my grandmother's recipe that I don't know that she invented it. I mean, I don't think she did. I think they're invented in Brooklyn, Ohio. But maybe these are her ratios of. So I think this makes like approximately 100 buckeyes if you get 32 ounces of peanut butter. I'm not doing this many because I didn't get enough ingredients, but 32 ounces peanut butter, 3 pounds of confectioner's. Hey, nice tail.
That's not my tail. It's my cat's tail. I make buckeyes with cat fur. Go on. Yes.
Yum. Okay, so 3 pounds of confectioner's sugar, which is always what I've called that type of sugar before today. 1 pound of unsalted butter and 1 pound of chocolate. Maybe a chocolate bar, or I got some chips. I got some semi-sweet chocolate
That's
chips.
what I melted. I made mine in advance, and I made it in advance just to show you up that I'm better than you. And I have to have something on you. And you basically blend melted butter and peanut butter and sugar together. I did not make a quantity for 100 either. No matter how much my neighbors are nice, I don't think it's not Ohio State season yet, really.
No.
But these will be beloved by all the neighbors. These I've rolled and I've refrigerated them, and I think the best part of all of them is that you then stick a toothpick in. Every recipe says you stick a toothpick in them, and then you dip them deep, into the chocolate, and then the toothpick falls out, and then you have to stick it in again, and then you get to take it out. But now I have a buckeye.
Now you have a buckeye, and you always smooth over the hole to pretend like it never happened, to pretend like it was magically made perfectly without a toothpick.
And was that your job as a kid? I mean, like, did you make them in the Nemo family house?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I've never done this entire recipe soup to nuts. I got to skip the hard
Right.
parts because my mom would do that.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm finding this to be actually quite a lot of work to make all of these ingredients unite and conform as one unit by hand. But it's okay. And I've never gone to the store and purchased all the ingredients. And I did have to ask the guy where to find sugar because I thought I was in the baking section, but then the sugar was by the friggin' red pepper flakes. So
See, so this is learning. Like, I think your mom should be proud of you. Mrs. Nemo, if you're listening, you should be very proud of your son. He's done amazing work here.
Oh my God. She's absolutely listening. She's somehow listening to us record this
I think that's probably true. The trick also is to stick the toothpick in before you refrigerate them.
Yep.
Which I may or may not have done, she said, as she drips them. But is this good? I mean, are they supposed to have a crusty bottom? Like, I mean, a crunchy extra layer of chocolate on the bottom? Or
yeah, they sometimes end up with a flatter bottom, just based on the way that the drippage drips down and sort of flattens out on the pan or the whatever you're putting them on. But that's okay. That's to be expected. None of us are perfect. None of us can draw a perfect circle or make a perfectly spherical buckeye. So,
right.
That's look at the shape of Ohio. It's not perfect.
No.
It's a little bumpy.
It's true.
It's got edges.
Yeah, and one of the edges is Kentucky. Can you explain to me why Cincinnati Airport is in Kentucky?
Because there's just too much going on in Cincinnati. There's no room for an airport. There's too much strictly like fun stuff that's going on. It's like how New York City, Manhattan doesn't have an airport. It's because it's so packed with business and entertainment and skyscrapers, and Cincinnati is filled with just, Skyline chili, Gold Star chili, and other various chilies. There's just no room for an
Would
airport.
You eat chili on spaghetti? Is that a thing you've done in your life, being from Ohio? Do you like that I'm treating you as if you were from maybe like Venus or Mars? What's it like in Ohio? I was in Ohio only a few weeks ago, people, eating Grater's ice cream. Well, on my way to Kentucky, to be honest, but eating Grater's ice cream at every chance I possibly can, because for those of you who haven't experienced the best of Cincinnati, it's Grater's ice cream.
Grater's ice cream is absolutely fantastic. And I was actually having this discussion with my wife the other day that one of the great things that you can ingest in the entire world is Grater's. But then also when you go there and you get a little plastic cup of cold water to wash down the Grater's, that is heaven. That is such a good feeling to wash down the remnants of this like frozen sugar treat. And it just goes down so cold and you're like, oh my God, water has never been so good in my entire life.
So do you prefer the water to the ice cream? Or I don't know, I'm kind of confused here.
No, I like the ice cream better, but the water experience sort of is like the little exclamation point on the experience of Grater's.
And they do make a Buckeye flavor. For those of you who have no desire to make this candy at home, you can just make you can just go eat the ice cream, which I highly recommend, because peanut butter and chocolate makes a great combination. And I'm sure for our friends who can't eat peanut butter, almond butter would make a fine, or sun butter for our sunflower seed eating friends would make a fine substitute.
Hey, yeah.
So I know that you're not exactly spending the entire time while you're on strike sitting here making Buckeyes, although you could probably set up like a Buckeye stand and feed hungry writers.
You're smart.
I know. I got the ideas. So how are you spending your time? Are you spending a lot of time on the picket line? Are you happy? Like what emotion would you use to describe how you're feeling about this strike? You can use more than one adjective. You can use more than one.
Okay. I was worried it was going to be one of those things where you get one word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Happy, happy's probably wrong, but it was a good guess. I feel happy at times, but you've been down on the picket line, and the picket lines are absolutely dripping with happiness and, unity and, just like they're some of the most energetic places that you can be. And I would highly recommend anybody that wants to come check one out, come through and feel the love, because they're a place where everybody is on the same page. Everybody's united against, the big giant streaming platforms and the networks who are trying to make a quick buck and trying to tamp down the creatives. And it's really fun. Like, you feel like you're part of something kind of historical and kind of bigger than you. It's very different than, doing your job. It's, you go out and I don't normally get 25,000 steps in any single day. And I've been doing that multiple times a week now. And it's cool, getting to know people from other shows and putting faces to names and meeting people. And I'm like, oh, you're the person with 900 million Twitter followers that I've only seen a drawing of as your Twitter avatar. So that's very cool.
Is there a lot of so I guess this is also probably very healthy for the writers who normally sit a lot
in dark rooms and, don't see a lot of sun. Mm-hmm. It's great. And they have sunscreen there. They have 50 SPF sunscreen there for us, which is amazing. But it's cool. Like, it's honestly, like, I'm sort of grateful for the experience because it's made me have to, like, dig in and understand more about our union. I've been thinking more about unions as a whole and organized labor and the history of unions and the history of union music, because there are some amazing songs out there.
I had no idea.
And albums. No, there are. I had no idea. I thought it was just like, you got the right to fight, to party. But there's so many more anthems from, like, the good old days. But I'm rambling. Really, it's a fight that's really for the future, and I feel like I'm doing my small part. By the way, I'm also just this, like, lowly member of the WGA that's 2 years in. I'm not one of the people on the negotiating committees. I'm not able to eloquently state every single bullet point as well as they are. So that's like, nobody should take my word for anything, but there's some really, really impressive people in charge who have explained the cause and explained what's at stake. And it feels like it's fighting for writing as a career in the future, and for people to be able to do that and make a living doing it at all, other than the few people that are able to, get bankrolled by their parents and come out and live in a $9,000 a month apartment and do this for fun. It's just, there's no way to do it if you have to do it in the gig economy and you're making so little, and there feels like there's no future. And so I know you got to get out there. You got to be loud. You got to walk your 25,000 steps. And that's all I feel like I can do is take up space out there and make noise and be in the way and try to just do what everybody else is doing.
I think that's exactly right. And I think you do yourself a disservice by saying I'm not one of the people negotiating, but without the whole point of a union is that there are lots and lots of people all standing for the same thing, or, doing 25,000 steps for the same thing. And
Totally.
That's what's really, really important. And I'm sure now that you've been doing that, you're much stronger and you can actually make that mixture of buckeyes, which is nearly impossible to mix by hand. I mean, I just see old Ohio grandmas like really stirring the pot here, giant forearms. But on the other hand, a hand mixer really makes it easier.
I know, but this is a muscle I haven't really used very much, which is the arm.
One of the things that you said really hits home with me in a painful way, and you know where it hits? It hits my wallet, and that's the pay. It's pay for writers. I'm 435 years old. I actually helped, like, Gutenberg ink the presses and just after he invented the printing press. I've been a writer. I've been a writer for that long, and yet, and so I somehow thought that I would get to this moment in my life and be this age, and I would be paid commensurately for the amount of years that I have been writing, and that it would just go up, 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 up.
Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
You know you need fiber for a healthy gut, but do you actually know how to get it? Quaker's been serving up fiber since 1877, with over 100 great-tasting, good source of fiber options to choose from. Whether you like old-fashioned oats, instant oatmeal, granola, or oatmeal squares, Quaker makes it delicious. So good. Get your fiber with Quaker. Shop Quaker's good source of fiber products at a store near you.
I get paid today for an article the same I would have been paid 10, 15, 20 years ago.
I know that it feels like this spreads across so many different aspects of writing and aspects of a lot of creative work, journalism, all like almost any field where you are doing something for a larger organization and you're kind of doing all the heavy lifting and they're just raking in revenue based off of the ads that they put on your amazing little piece that you put out there. And so it feels like, it does. A lot of people are saying that this strike right now is going to be sort of setting the tone for a lot of negotiations in different fields that are coming down the road.
One of the things that keeps me awake at night is, because it's constantly talking to me, is Chat GPT. I understand that it's a new technology, and the way people talk about new technologies, whether it was the radio, cars, or I don't know, iPhones, is always like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Things will never be the same again. Except that radios took off and iPhones took off and cars took off and things like that. It's all become really popular. I've got a little pain in my stomach that's bigger than normal about what I've heard about networks, like television networks using Chat GPT. Mm-hmm. Daddy, is that really going to happen?
Yeah, that is really the question that comes up the most, like when I'm just talking to friends and when I'm getting together with people, because now I have, part of my day free and people want to meet up and hang out and they just want to talk about AI all day long, which is understandable because there's really nobody whose job doesn't feel like eventually could be replaced by, if AI becomes what every person is worried it's going to. It does feel like you got to be a little bit looking over your shoulder, seeing if there's a little phone or computer that's about to be the new you. But I don't know. It's a really tricky thing to project down the road if it's going to continue to like exponentially learn and what that means. But it just does feel a little bit insulting when anyone is like, oh yeah, I think we can eliminate human beings from art and storytelling and replace them entirely with an algorithm or partially with an algorithm. And it's also like AI could have really interesting uses and be extremely beneficial for us, but it's just like, I think it's just too attractive to people who think that they can slash 50% of their staffs and like just capitalize off of this new shiny object and sort of use it to their own benefit and profit. So, especially when it's like, oh, I think like AI could write a script. Like you could lose half of your writer's room, just put an AI in there to write the first draft, and then some person will come along and they can just punch it up, and then you're done. It just takes the two of you working in harmony together and moolah.
Right. As we are sitting on our yacht somewhere in the Mediterranean, enjoying it. it makes me so nervous, and I, have a hard time kind of coming to it sort of defeats the entire purpose of art, doesn't it? Right? Like the whole
Yeah,
understanding of what
100%.
art is not.
100%. 100%. Do you want to watch somebody get up on stage and do a freestyle rap that is a computer that has access to, that has rhymezone.com pulled up, and they're just going through and they're inputting all the different rhymes? It's not impressive. It doesn't show that they have like lived and experienced anything. It just shows that they can connect various points into some sort of sentence repeatedly. And I bet if you go on right now to Chat GPT and you said make a freestyle about buckeyes, it would do a decent job. But it's just, that's not the point necessarily of art is the final product. It's thinking about what went into it and where does this person come from. And then like when I'm watching a movie, so many times I click out of the movie because I'm like, oh, I wonder like what this director has done before. And I'm like, I feel like I've seen that actor somewhere. Where have I seen them? And then I like go onto a deep dive about what's their hometown. Oh my God, that's where they're from. I wonder if they ever did anything with this person. Oh my God, they were roommates at community college. I didn't even know community colleges had dorms. And then you start to like make all of these connections about these like lived experiences that people have that you can't do if it's just this like code that's coming up with everything. And I really don't mean to like ever villainize AI because AI has never done anything wrong. It's people abusing AI that is the potential to do anything wrong. But AI can do some stuff. I'm fine with it, but it just doesn't need to be, starring in 8 Mile in my opinion.
Right.
Or taking my job.
I mean, I did read some very scary things this week about what AI could possibly get up to. And that did concern me. It making decisions that maybe humans should make, but maybe it'll make better decisions. It's just not going to make better art, as far as I'm concerned. And it's not going to be able to make those links.
Hey, absolutely. AI, if you are listening right now, please fix climate change. We do not seem to be necessarily able or willing to do it. You guys do that, and we will make the fart jokes. It's fine.
AI's fart jokes are just never going to have that same, I don't know, is the word piquancy? I don't know, probably. I mean,
it
should be for anyone's farts, really. What are you working on other things during this time? Do you find, is this going to be like the blackout after a blackout when there are like millions of new children born after a blackout? And is this after, like during the writer's strike, are all the writers going home and coming up with the great American movie? And there's suddenly going to be so much more creative stuff out on the market? Or you guys meeting a lot for coffee?
I have no idea. I've been doing a lot of non-work. Like I've been doing a lot of like, I went to the DMV today, and I'll do things that like I haven't been able to do with my schedule normally, and I feel like I'm catching up. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure some cool projects and some like people will meet who wouldn't have met without the writer's strike, and they will become friends and make things together. And yeah, I mean, I'm working on a thing now where I'm just like messing around with some animation and some music that you've referenced. That's called Shitty Mozart. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to be even the next good American project, let alone the next great. But it's going to be something that I force my friends to watch and feel uncomfortable at least. So I do think people are staying busy, and I think people are, also putting a lot of energy into picketing and to getting the word out about what the fight is all about and everything. But yeah, sure. I mean, I think definitely there will be some positive things that come from this that might not have.
What can you give people at home who need something new and delightful, who may not have heard of Shitty Mozart, what to expect from Shitty Mozart? And where did the idea come from for Shitty Mozart? Tell us everything.
Shitty Mozart. Yeah. So Shitty Mozart, are you allowed to swear on this podcast?
I am. It's my podcast, so you go ahead if you think if it's appropriate.
Oh hell yeah. I mean, we've been talking farts.
Farts.
Um, yeah,
Piquancy.
shitty Mozart, piquancy, which I feel like I have an idea of what that means. Yeah, basically, it was mostly during the pandemic that I sort of, made shitty Mozart into. The first idea was I just got this piano that I realized I could control animations on my computer using. So because a piano has more keys, there's 128 notes in one, from the lowest octave to the highest octave on a MIDI instrument. There's 128 notes, and there's 16 channels of 128 notes, which gives you so many different ways to send a signal to your computer using a piano compared to a typing keyboard, which has, I don't know, 3 or 4 buttons. So I hit a bunch of buttons and I make things happen on the cartoon screen, the projector behind me. And, the things can be a song, they can be a quick joke. I can, bring, myself, I can dress up as Mozart and talk to a cartoon version of Aaron Nemo. And those become pretty heated and angry conversations, when really all I probably should be doing is just seeing a therapist. So Shitty Mozart is a musical, an animated symphony, and I do dress up. I have a wig, I have a costume. It's, I could look back on it and be extremely ashamed.
No.
So it's just, we got to wait it out and see what happens. But that's how all projects go.
That's true. I mean, I feel that way about things I've done, but the truth is, Shitty Mozart is a delight. And I've always wanted to sit in on people's therapy anyway. I think that would be sort of fun, even strangers' therapy. And so it's a delight to be able to watch your Shitty Mozart. And also, you look good as Mozart. And I'm not just saying that because I'm practically related to you and probably forgot to give you a birthday present. But there you go. Before we go, and I chill these, and I have to make sure that I get rid of the little hole in the middle part of the buckeye. Give me a little sense for those people at home. Probably have very little idea, at least, of what it takes to make a nightly show like The Daily Show. When you wake up around 4:30, probably to work out, right, and then do your marathon training, and then
right, P90X.
Yeah, and then you make fresh bread for your wife, and while you're doing that and sipping coffee that's probably passed through the digestive tract of a meerkat, what else happens in your day?
Well, then I put the meerkats to bed and I read them a short little story, and I give each of them a little kiss on their paws.
On each paw.
Each paw, and they have 4 paws because they don't consider the top ones to be hands. So it's 4 paws. It's, I have a very specific job on the show where I work on a small team that makes the cold opens that air before the opening credits and before the monologue happens and everything. So my experience is, I think, probably a lot different than pretty much most writers in late night and most aspiring writers, what their eventual job will be after we have major victories during the strike and everything goes back to normal and there continues to be writing and comedy in the world that is human generated.
Beautifully said.
Yes. But what I do is I wake up, this is just my routine, but I wake up and I, generally I make some avocado toast.
Oh, because you live in Brooklyn.
Because I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm woke as hell. So I make a little avocado toast and I drench it in red pepper flakes and I get a little bit of that everything salt on there. And I'm, I got to throw some news on and I'm just listening to it in the background, kind of. There's some days where I have an idea of maybe what the story of the day will be, but, generally you just want to get a feel for what people are talking about and what people around the country are talking about, not just the news. But you can get an idea of a couple hours of bouncing around to different channels and see like what's kind of going to be what people are talking about later that night, what you anticipate people are going to be curious about, and maybe it's just going to be like the conversation in cubicles in the Midwest. And, so I just kind of I also tune into what my friends from Ohio were talking about, because it's kind of like how in Columbus, Ohio, that's where they test out different new fast foods, is they try stuff on Ohio first,
Right.
just to get an idea of what might be sort of popular nationwide. So, and then you get an idea of what the story is, and you try to come up with what if this weird thing happened, and it could be silly, and maybe you kind of get your own little point of view in there, and you hopefully you've worked on the show and you've seen enough of the show that you know the show's voice a little bit, and you know the host's voice, and you try to make something that he would like, and you try to make something you yourself like and stand by. And then, you only have so much time. The beautiful thing about a show that goes on every day is you have to turn something in by the deadline.
What's the deadline?
You're working. Well, there's many deadlines throughout the day, but our meetings start around 9:30. Some people have even earlier meetings than that, but I go into my first meeting with usually a little something, maybe a little proof of concept, and I go, hey, here's what I'm thinking, and people either go, hey, that's okay, or they go, no, I don't really like that, but that inspires something else that I think could be funny, and then we just kind of group think it together for a bit, and we chew on it, and we try to come up with sorry, there's a piece of paper in one of my buckeyes. Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's a cool collaborative process. Anybody can throw an idea in, and it ends up making it in,
and then you're part of making it too, right?
You're part of making it, and at the end of the year, you've done it 200 times. You've got some that you love. You've got some that you're like, oh yeah, I wonder if we would have changed that if we had more time. But it's cool that you don't have more time. You just have to pump it out, and you stand by it. And if you didn't love it, you come back the next day and you get to do it all over again.
Well, I love it. And I think people are now going to get an extra thrill out of knowing that they've listened to the person make Buckeyes who makes the cold open of Late Night, of the Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Just like the Buckeyes, it's not just me. This comes from the grandmother, and then the cold opens come from a whole team, and then we come up with some ideas and we write it down as a script, and then the graphics people come in and the editors come in, and there's a musician who we have specially who we can send stuff to, who jams out some incredible tunes, and it's so many amazing people who are the best at their job working on one thing, which is why there's never a night where you turn on the TV and it's not on because it wasn't successfully put up. It's really, really impressive people who I desperately miss, and I would really like to go back to work soon.
All right, heads, union heads, do your job. And if there are any studio executives who are listening to this, one, could you pick up my podcast? And two, also make sure that you pay writers fairly.
Pay writers fairly, and if it helps, I will be willing to give the studios some Buckeyes.
I think you might want to maybe tweet that out to the heads of the union and just to let them know that could be the negotiating point that maybe sort of pushes things over the edge.
It could really be the last thing, that's all that was needed, because otherwise it seems like we're so close with no, I don't think so. But it's a really good thought, and Buckeyes are that good that they really could. They're worth trillions.
They are worth trillions, and not just in calories. Ho ho! Okay, I'm sorry. This is why we write the jokes. Anyway, it's extremely nice to have you on, and you're welcome whenever you want to come on. I'd love it if you could just, come and talk to the people of the Secret Life of Cookies podcast and tell them what life is like, because I think it's one of those things that I don't know if people. I mean, thank you for explaining just how much freaking or even fucking work goes into. Sorry, that's not a word from Ohio.
That's amazing.
Yeah, how much darn work goes into putting together the Late Show every single night.
Well, it's the same with The Secret Life of Cookies. It's really not. You make it look easy, but I know that it's a real labor of love, and it's, I'm glad that it's still going on. I'm glad that the people have something that they can do and something they can enjoy and something they can listen to / sometimes watch.
It's true. Sometimes. If they're lucky. And one day we'll all be on TikTok making buckeyes in 30 seconds or less.
Oh,
Maybe with shitty Mozart. I think
hope
shitty
not.
Mozart should make some buckeyes. On that note, I thank you very much for being here. I must run off into the evening, but it would be much more pleasant to spend it with you. Thank you all for listening today. Please, if you can, subscribe to the Deep State Radio Network, who makes this pod possible. And for very little money, you can get access to everything Deep State Radio Network does, all the special content from the Deep State Radio podcast, and of course, The Secret Life of Cookies. You can follow Aaron on all the spaces that the internet offers. But if you want to find out the best ones, go to his page, his webpage, AaronNemo.com. And for me, find me on Substack at MarissaRothkopf.com. I look forward to talking to you all next week and cooking some stuff up with you. Have a great week.
We're leaving today and entering a world of Mickey Mouse waving, princess meeting and greeting, lightsaber clashing, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror dropping, Banshee flying, Space Mountain launching, Galaxy rewinding. What's the network? Galaxy rewinding, fireworks igniting, world of other worlds. For whatever you love, infinite worlds await at the most magical place on Earth, Walt Disney World Resort.